you're watching Waterside Fishing Adventures. So today we're going to pick up on our Roach Quest videos. This will be part 2. The spot where no one's fishing. And let's see how we get on. We've got 7.5 degrees. Time is nearly 1 o'clock. We'll go down and fish it till dark, or maybe after dark for a little while. See how the fishing go. Good thing is now is staying light till sort of 4:30 or 5. It's getting later as the weeks go past, which is good. Put in a 14, nearly 15 hour day yesterday at work, so I'm a bit knackered. I was buffing one of the cars with the old mop and that, you know, that you do, and that shakes and vibrates your whole body. So now I've got a sort of dead right arm. So I thought I'll pop out for a few hours, give it a little rest, and then go back in tonight and carry on. So here I am, and away we go. So I'm just going to grab some bait. I've got my own ground baits and stuff, as you know, I make one myself. But just need to grab some maggots and a pot of worms, which I'll pop up to Angler Direct and do, which I'm doing now. Done my order, pick it up, and then we'll whip back down my way and get on the river. Being so warm today compared to lately anyway, it's been like -2 and stuff lately, all sort of 0, 1 degree, you know, them sort of temperatures, quite cold. But today it's a lot warmer. I reckon there's going to be a few people out. Hopefully not too many. So I plan going sort of, or I do it quite often, going during the week. So there's not many people about. Weekends can get a bit packed, which is not so good. Back on the old ledge rod again. Probably put a little cage feeder on to start with. Sort of medium to large size to get a bit of bait out for the first 5 or 6 casts, just to sort of start building a swim. Then I'll go a bit smaller, you know, and gauge how many fish are coming in the swim and feed how much I need to feed. If I feel there's enough bait out there to keep getting bites, then I'll just swim over to a bomb and more fish like that. I think I'll also set up a little float rod to fish close in with. Just play about to any edge, because you never know, it might pick up a nice perch to the edge of the wall. Always worth a little go. You definitely sit there and pick up loads of little fish, but we're after them big roach really. We're more likely going to get some skimmers and some bream. Not really much you can do about getting, you know, sort of not getting them. Don't mind getting the bream at, you know, 6, 7, 8 pound. Quite happy to get them. Don't really want too many skimmers and stuff, but the fish is a fish. I'm out there to catch fish. I like catching fish, whether they're big or small. But obviously it's nice to get some big ones now and again. Hence doing the little series of targets and big roach. Okay, so I'm going to pick my stuff up, whip down the road back to where we're going to fish, and I'll bring you back. So I've had a few messages lately asking, is it possible to do what I do while having a full-time job as well? Well, some of my subscribers will know I run a car garage, where I rebuild bodywork, do engine work, MOT work, all that sort of stuff, spray cars, as well as running this channel. Now, that's a hell of a challenge, don't get me wrong, because you have to put some serious hours in, day and night, all week long, every week, basically. If I'm not doing a 12-hour shift at the garage, I'm doing a 12-hour shift out on the bank, trying to catch some fish. If I'm not doing that, I'm editing videos, doing SEO, sorting out titles and stuff like that, getting equipment ready, all sorts of that. The job's endless basically. But if you really want to do it, then you'll push yourself and do it. But if you're in my shoes, you're basically getting 2-3 hours sleep a night, so you're pretty knackered most of the time. but I believe the only way to sort of build a channel on YouTube like this is to do 2 to 3 videos a week at least. You know, keep the constant running fishing videos and other stuff on the channel as well. So yeah, it can be done. This is for Captain Moore, by the way. So Captain Moore, this can be done, yeah, but you gotta really want to do it because it's a lot of hard work. It's not a case of just going down the bank and just do a bit of fishing. You gotta think of all the camera equipment and stuff you need, photos, the actual making of the video, where the camera need to be at certain times, to, you know, actually filming the angling and that sort of thing. Making sure you've always got bait, making sure you've got the right gear for the right session. Upkeep on your vehicles and stuff like that. And then you've got to have the even more time to do all the editing, stuff like that for your videos, as well as doing your normal 9 to 5 or whatever hours you do work-wise. So what I can say is, if you fancy getting a channel and trying to build it up, then just do it, have a go, and just see how you get on. See if you can actually handle the pressure. If not, then just do it on small scale and just, yeah, do the odd video for fun and sort of go from there. But if you need any more over there, spit it out, Carl. If you need any other help, just drop us a message and I'll speak to you via messenger or something like that. Okay, thanks for the question. Right, I've been in and got me bait and stuff. I'm nearly back down to where we're going to fish. So I'll bring you back as we get into the car park and let's see how many people are fishing down there. Just had a question come in from John Miller. It's the question about the roach series. He's saying, what's my biggest roach? Well, that was a couple of sessions ago. This is my PB, £2.7. It's my biggest roach I've ever had. I know for a fact that I've had bigger ones on the hook and dropped them at the net. Hence why I'm doing the little series and hoping to catch a £3 roach. Maybe slightly bigger, you never know. It's a big feat to do on a river. There's a few lakes in the country that hold big roach like that, but they're not easy to get either. Yeah, £2.7. I've had a fair few sessions this winter where I've had 2 or 3 roach well over the pound mark. Watch some of my other videos, you'll see I've had quite a few roaches this winter in various different places, sort of various different sizes, but quite a few have been between £1 and £2, with the majority of them being between £1.5 and £2. So I've done pretty well. Haven't had any big numbers apart from one session when I was at Loddon Quay, and I think I had, I'm trying to think now, I think I had 6 roach between £1 and £2.7. So that was a good session. And I also dropped a fair few coming into the net on the same session, but haven't had anything like that since. Gonna keep trying over the winter, see if I can get some more big roach before they disappear. They don't seem to be there anywhere near as much in the summer months. You can still sometimes get them, but they definitely feed better in the winter months. So I hope that answers your question. And if you want to know anything else, just drop us a message and I'll answer all the same like I do everyone else. Well, it looks like I might have to come down onto the point today. Got someone fishing over there on the far bank on the left hand point, where I normally fish. There's a massive grab boat and it's all fenced off because they're working on that wall alongside there, which you'll see in a sec. There's two people fishing here between these two boats. They're up at their van at the moment, so I don't know if they're setting up or going away. Tide height at the moment is 5.5 foot. I'm hoping we're going up, but I'm not sure what the tides are today. I don't know if we're going down or going up, to be honest. But we're going to have a go anyway. These people are sitting here on the old poles and stuff. They're not actually with their equipment at the moment, they're over there at the van. But I think we'll wander around there and go from there. I would have set up here, but a bit tight between these two boats here. I could, I suppose, if I wanted to, but and they're doing their work alongside here, so I can't fish here because the bank's gone down. As you can see, they're doing plenty of work. Right, let's get some groundbait mixed up then. Still got a little bit left over from the previous session, but I need much more than this, so I'm going to mix up a new batch with some bought ingredients and some special ingredients of my own. And let's see if we can get a nice groundbait mixed up. I'll ball a few balls in to start with just to get the swim going, and then I'll start putting the feeder out and start building up a swim cast by cast. Okay, let's get it done. I do get through a fair old bit of groundbait and ingredients and stuff, but that's the only way to attract a fish to the peg, so it has to be done. And I do this on pretty much every trip that I'm going to feed a fish. Even when I'm out on the float, I still put a bit of groundbait out and get the fish feeding. Just a good way to get them in the swim and get them taking baits. This looks pretty sloppy here, but just keep watching. It will toughen up and I'll be able to ball it and put it in the feeder. I want it to go to the bottom, I don't want it to cloud when it hits the surface and will break up. I want it to go down to the bottom and pull the fish down to feed on the bottom. My aim when feeding like this is to feed off the smaller fish and hopefully bring in like the bigger roach and the bigger bream in a decent shoal and hopefully, you know, get them feeding. Does work quite often, but can also bring in really big shoals of small fish as well. You just have to see what's happening on the day and go from there. Okay, so we're nearly mixed up. Final few magic ingredients, and we should be coming to our mixture texture we need. We'll let it sit for 10-15 minutes and that'll be ready to use. Sorry about the noise in the background, some chap's trying to start his boat. He's off out for a trip. So this is the texture you want. So it balls up like this, nice and hard, and goes straight down to the bottom. Obviously if you want the fish to come up on the surface and stuff like that, then you want it fluffier and you want it to cloud when it hit the water. But I don't, I want it going down to the bottom and pulling the fish down. So I'm going to stir this up and we're ready to go. Let's start doing a bit of fishing. For hook baits I've got sweet corn, maggots, worms, bread. So I've got a good old mixture of bait. I'll just try different things, see what fish are coming on what. Try small baits for small fish, bigger baits for the bigger fish. Just work it out through the session. Another handy thing about fishing down here is there's bins all over the place, so you've got somewhere to put all your rubbish. But if you haven't, just keep it in a bag somewhere and throw it away when you finish fishing. Okay, so let's get some rods out and see if we can catch some fish. One thing to remember when doing this type of fishing is you want a nice decent towel with you. Not a little tiny one, nice big towel so you can get all the slime and ground baits and all sorts of stuff off your hands so you don't get it all over you. All over your rods, all over your reels, and just literally everywhere. It's probably the most important thing to worry about when you're doing bream and roach fishing and stuff like that. So don't forget it. So that boat you've been trying to hear start in the background is finally going, and they're going past us in the picture, as you can see. Must be nice to just cruise off down the river in a boat. Be nice to pull up somewhere and put a rod out the back. I think that's something I'll probably do in the summer. I'll look into buying a boat and we'll see if we can do some fishing around the Broads out the back of the boat. It should be fun to bring to the channel, hopefully. Me and my partner have had many boats in the past, from like Broads cruises to top spec speedboats, so it would be nice to get another boat and have something I can fish off a back of. Enjoy times in the summer evenings and stuff like that, fishing out the back, picnics and stuff like that, you know, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, like I say, hopefully we can bring that to the channel, and that'll be another aspect of fishing that I can show. Okay, so that's the feeder rod out. And they're going to change the other rod to a float, I think, and fish a bit closer in. So we'll try that as well. Right, so the old float rod's set up now. Got a crystal waggler float on there with an orange tip. Got a little weight either side of the float and down the line towards the hook to sink everything down. Got a size 10 specialist Drennan carp hook on, Drennan match hook on, and let's see if we can get a few fish. The chap to the right of me and the two chaps to the left of me are both pulling in fish near enough per cast, so shouldn't be no reason why we can't do the same once we get a swim built up and pull a few fish in. So I'll get a few balls of ground bait out there, bit of hemp on the bottom, and let's get these fish feeding. So what I basically do is cast past where I've fed, sink the line into the fed area, and then sit there and wait for it to go under. The tide's definitely not going to do me any favours, as it's already low and it's still going down and will be for the next 2 hours. So that's a bit of a shame, but we'll fish it up probably halfway as well. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But as the sessions go on, we'll get better tides, and hopefully we'll be able to fish some high tides, because that's what I really want to do, and that's normally the best fishing times, I would say. So as you can probably see, I'm getting a bite every cast, but I've got bigger baits on because I'm trying to feed the smaller fish off and hopefully hook up to some of the bigger stuff. As you know, with the Roach Quest, the plan is to try and get a big roach, so that's what I'm trying to do. The feeder swim will probably take an hour or so to settle in some fish, and then we should start getting some bites on the feeder rod as well. It's a lovely day out here for it. It's got 7.5 degrees today, which don't sound much, but compared to when I've been fishing in the -2s and 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, this is, like summer to me. This is lovely with all the gear on. Quite comfortable fishing, but I don't mind doing the cold air times as well, which I'll probably have to do later on once the temperature drops, once the sun's gone down. So here we go, first fish. That didn't take very long, and I'm getting bites every cast, so hopefully let's start getting a few fish. I'll only be putting the small fish in the net. I don't keep any of the big bream or big roach in the net if I can help it, especially not this small one I've got at the moment. Maybe once I get a much bigger net and a softer net, I shall keep some of the bags of bream as well. So rebait on the feeder rod, fill the feeder back up with ground bait, get a big bait on there, whack it back out there. As you can probably see, when I cast the feeder out, I'm literally fishing to the middle of the whole area basically, and that seems to work for me. Seem to pull in a few fish, and this is where I caught the bigger roach in various sessions I've been down here before. So I thought I'd give you a move, give you a different angle to see how I'm fishing. In case you're wondering where I'm casting across with the feeder, I'm not blocking off any of the two chaps that are fishing in front of me, because they're both fishing on poles just down in front of themselves, just literally in front of the boats. So I've already spoken to them and I'm not in their swim whatsoever. I have to keep tightening the line on the feeder rod because fish are all pecking at the feeder and picking up the bait and dropping it and stuff like that, so I just have to keep the line tight. You'll probably see I always sit on the edge of my seat. I don't sit back and relax very often. I'm there ready for the next bite, ready to strike, ready to get a fish. Always alert, not sitting back, just enjoying myself like I should be really. Here come the local swans. Do sometimes have to just move your float because they do like to peck at your float, or sometimes even pick it up and have a chew on it. As you can probably hear in the background, there's plenty of wildlife around here, birds and all sorts of things really. So I'm there getting my first bite on the feeder rod. Hopefully we'll hook up and get a fish. Woohoo! Yep, fish on. What's it going to be? Roach, bream, perch? Let's see, let's find out. Some skimmers about. Okay, so it's a small bream for the first fish on the feeder rod. Let's hope they'll get bigger, and let's hope we get some big roach as well. Maybe a nice perch, you never know. So the small bream was on a bit of corn, so I'm going to try a big bunch of maggots this time. 6 maggots, reds and whites. Let's see if we can get a roach this time. On this rod I'm using a plastic cage feeder. and then a Drennan size 10 specialist hook. I've got about a metre between the feeder and the hook lengthwise, and I've got a sliding feeder, so when the fish takes it, it just slides up the line. You have to be really alert when fishing the float rod and having the feeder rod at the same time. You've got to try and watch both, depending on which one gets the bite. So, great. It's a roach this time, but way too small. We want them 5-10 times the size of that. But let's get back out there and see what else is there. And that's a little roach on the float rod too. So we're starting to find a few roach. We just need their size to increase now. The hook bait on the float rod at the moment is just a big bunch of maggots, but I do switch over to corn and worm sometimes. Just keep trialing the baits to see what bring in the bigger fish. Bang, and round goes the feeder rod. So what is it this time? Seem to start getting a bite at cast now, which is great. So what we got? Well, that's a shame that come off halfway in. Didn't feel too big, so I'm not too worried, but don't want to be dropping too many fish if I can help it. So the chap on the point in the corner there to the right just brought up a half decent roach of around half a pound at least. So that's not bad. There's a few roach about. That's good. Oh, missed that one. I went flying under and I still didn't get it. So I just had to make a quick toilet stop, which I've just done, and I'm now wandering back. If you need to do the same while out fishing, just ask a fellow angler to watch your gear for a minute or so while you pop to the toilet. So rods are back out and fish on straight away. So what have we got this time? Let's get it in, get it landed, see what it is. So looks like we've got a small bream. If you're wondering why I always use a big net like this, it's just in case I get some big bream, or sometimes you'll get a good pike, take a roach or something like that on the way in, and sometimes you can land them. So just to be prepared, really, to be honest. Looks like the chap on the end here is packing up, so I'll have the whole end to myself from where I am all the way across. So that's nice. So that was just a large skimmer, so just pop that in the net, and we can see that later on when I pull the net in. It's definitely hectic trying to keep 2 rods going, getting bites on the float, bites on the feeder. That's all part of the fun. I like to stay active while out fishing. It also keeps you warm as well. When I'm out sea fishing, I do exactly the same thing. I fish 4 rods, and there's always 1 rod coming in and 1 rod going out. So just keeps you warm, keeps you active throughout the session. So just going to take a little wander to the end of the point, plop a big bait down there just for a minute or so and just see if anything takes it. Just want to know if there's any big roach hanging around at the end of there. So I just plopped the float out in sort of mid-water, got a big bunch of maggots on. Let's see if we can get a bite. I'm not going to try too long, just want to see if there's anything sitting there right now. So I'll give it a couple of casts and nothing's really happening, so I think the best thing I can do is move back down to where I was and fish it on my baited area. Always best to stay on your baited areas or just off them when fishing around here, but sometimes it's good just to have a little plop somewhere else with just a bare bait out there and no bait on the bottom. Well, I'll give it a little go down there. It's been down there a while now, but I think the best thing I could do is move back onto the baited spot and wait for the bigger fish to move on to me. As you can see, that's a lovely area to sit and fish. Really peaceful, lots of wildlife, and not too much going on really. You just get to sit back and do your fishing. Woohoo! Fish on again. What have we got this time, then? It's fighting really well. But then, to be fair, the bream down here fight quite well as well, to be honest. They go a bit crazy once they're hooked. So, what we're going to get in the net? There's felt around the edges, which is a bit of a pain, to be honest, as your net get caught up in it and stuff, but it doesn't happen too often, so can't worry too much. Nice big rod. I'm chuffed with this. Lovely size rod. I've been happy with a roach that size, but that's a lovely bit of rod. And it's like a couple of boys who've come in down the other point and they're having a cast around with a spinner. Yay! Fish on! What we got now? Well, just had a good fight with a nice big fish. Shame it's not a roach, but still a nice fish. Here we go. Nice big bream. Don't mind a few of them. I'm getting quite a few roach and stuff, but not very big at the moment. Right, after that nice fish, let's get some more ground bait out. And good few handfuls of hemp, I think. See if we can get some of the bigger fish feeding in close on the float as well. I don't do the little and often approach here. I like to put sort of heavy beds of bait down to get a shoal of fish down there and feeding and confident on taking baits and stuff. I know most people will just put a small handful over their float each time they cast out, but I find this way better. Well, as we do this roach quest, I will sort of move different swims around this area. May even go further down the river sometimes, or may even go to different venues. But lately I've had some really big roach here. Just missed the net, and I know they're way towards the £3 mark. It's just a case of getting them to feed again and getting them going. If you haven't seen them, if you look at my previous video, part 1, and then the video before that, Loddon Quay, you'll see me catch roach from anywhere from £1, £1.50, £1.75, £2 and £2.7. I had some nice big roach, and that was some really good sessions. So that's why we're doing this quest and trying to seek out that £3 roach, which will be a really good fish for a river fish. Right, so let's carry on with the session and see what else we can hook up to. Oh, here we go again. Bite on the feeder rod. Yep, bang. Fish on. Here we go. What we got this time? Is it another big bream? Is it a big roach? Maybe a perch? Could even be a rudd. Right, let's play it in and see what we got. Well, as you can see, just a small one this time. Just another roach to go in the net. So let's get it back out there, fully baited up, nice big bait, big bunch of maggots, feeder full, and hopefully let's get a bigger fish. So I'm actually sitting back in the chair. That don't happen very often, as you probably know from seeing my other sessions. But it won't be long while I'm sitting there before I get a bite, and I'll be bringing in a fish again. Told you that wouldn't last long. Here goes another bite. Let's see if we can get another fish. I can't believe that. Nothing on the end and the rod go right round like that. So I'm going to put it straight back out there without filling up the feeder this time. The bait looked okay. So let's see if we can get a bite without putting any bait in the feeder. The noise you can hear is the two chaps to the left, and they're starting to pack up by the looks of things. It is now starting to get dark, so I reckon they're wanting to go before it gets dark. Well, it's 4:30. Got about half an hour now till dark. Ledge rod and float rod are getting bites every cast. But what I've done is I've just fed it, sort of overfed up the swims now. So there's a lot of bait out there that hopefully I'm going to feed off the smaller fish and bring in some of the bigger. I had some decent bream. I've got a net full of roach and rudd. And hopefully I can move on to some bigger ones now, and as it gets dark, hopefully the big roach now will move in. So we'll carry on, have a few more casts and see how it goes as it gets dark. Tide at the moment is, well, the post is saying 2 foot, so it's not very deep. It's pretty much bottom of the tide, so not a good time to fish really, but I'm getting a bite of cast, so I can't complain. Just haven't seen them big roach yet. Got some medium sized ones, half a pound, 3/4 pound, that sort of size, but no big massive ones yet, sort of £1.5 upwards. But we'll see. Let's carry on and see how we get on. Well, getting loads of roach, but they're all that size. Got a net full of them and rudd. Surprisingly not a perch today, but let's hope they get bigger as it gets dark. Still a couple of anglers to me left, still here, but they'll probably pack up on the start. So let's carry on. Finally got a big roach, just as it's getting dark again. So we can get some more. And another one. I think that may be a hybrid, that one, because it hasn't got the orange fins at the bottom. Roach bream hybrid, I reckon. Well, it's got dark and all the bites have dropped off completely. Obviously I can't use the float anymore because I haven't got a nightlight float or a starlight with me, so I messed up there a little bit. But even the bites on the feeder rod has dried up as well. The only thing I can think of is 2 big boats just come in and sort of stirred up everything, plus tide is right down the bottom. So there's not a lot of water in there now. Maybe the fish have moved out, not really sure. But I'll stick it out for a little bit longer as yet. We'll give it another hour or so. See if we can get the bites going again. And if not, I'll be going home, grabbing some dinner and back to work. So let's see how we get on. Well, the roach are back. I think good job I got that map there. I think I was just the boats that stirred everything up and unsettled everything, because it's only been sort of 15-20 minutes. It's all settled down and I'm getting a bite of cast again. Only getting fish sort of this size, but actually that's not a roach, it's a skimmer, isn't it? But yeah, I only get fish that sort of size and then roach that size at the moment, but next bite could be anything, couldn't it? So we'll have a few more casts. Everything's a bit different down this end. You've got no street lamps or nothing to see what you're doing. You can't see your quiver tip or nothing like that. You've got to use lights and stuff down here to bait up and everything, so it's a lot different to fishing down in the car park. So if you're going to fish in the dark down here, make sure you got your gear with you and stuff, because you're going to need to see what you're doing. If not, you have to fish under the lights near the car park, but at the moment you won't be able to do that because there's boats all the way along there and there's nowhere to fish. Right, I'm going to have a few more casts and see if we can start to pick up some of them bigger roach. As you can see, there's boats all the way along tonight. Down the other end there, where the other bank is, they've been doing repairs, so that bit's all blocked off. And I'm down on the point, as you know. I'm going to walk onto the actual end of the point. I'm going to fish here one day. Not sure when. But at some point I'm going to fish here and fish down into the main river, or even across over there against the other bank along them lights. We'll have to see. It's a lovely place to be at night. Shame it's not lit up down this end, but we're going to give it a good old go. I think the only thing stopping us from catching the big roach tonight, the big roach, is the tide. Because they're feeding, it's a bite a cast, they're just not the size that they normally are. Oh, so we're sitting here, you can probably see the rod, but I'll put a light on it. That's basically what we're doing. We're sitting out there and waiting for that tip to fly around, which that keeps doing within a minute or so of being cast out. Well, we're back at the mat again, so that only means one thing. Whee! Not a big roach, but it is a big bream. Big old beast. Look at that. Lovely fish. So, let's slip it back and see if we can get a few more. Well, I fished in the dark now for about an hour and a half. It's 7 o'clock. Got dark about 5:30, pitch black. I'm getting bites, taking anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes to get a bite. But nothing big's coming in, just little roach and skimmers at the moment. Don't know where these big roach are gone. I'm now sort of searching out around the quay in different spots with the feeder, see if I can actually locate where the big roach are sitting. Unless they've actually moved off here. No, we'll have to see, we'll have to keep trying and see if we can pick one up. I've been the only one about for I don't know, I haven't seen anyone for hours now, probably a couple of hours. The car park up the top there is actually nearly empty for a change. Lately it's been pretty much full every day, every night. Temperature wise are starting to drop now. Got 2 degrees, so the old hands and feet are starting to get a bit cold, but I think I'm going to give it another hour and then that'll be time to go and have some dinner and stuff, unless all of a sudden I start picking up £1.5 roach and stuff every cast. But at the moment I can't seem to find them, so as I say, I'm searching about, casting in all different areas, and seem to be getting a few bites, just not the size that we're looking for. Got some nice big bream, and got a net full of skimmers and roach, rudd, and plenty of fish. I put all the big fish back because there's just too many fish to keep in that little net I've got there. I need to get myself another decent keep net, nice and long one if I'm going to keep bream and stuff like that, because they need the room to move around. It's a lovely evening, nice and quiet. All I can hear is the weir running through basically. In the summer when it's not dark till 10, 11 o'clock, it's going to be a lovely place to sit. Obviously be nice and warm as well. Yeah, I'm quite enjoying sitting here. I've got the old hot chocolate in the flask, so I've got a warm drink when I need it. Haven't brought no food with me today, but we're only here for 5-6 hours today, so we can hold on. Right, so I'm going to carry on watching this rod. Hopefully I'll have something big enough to bring to camera again soon. Well, managed to find a roach. Not massive, but half decent size. Hopefully we can find some more now and find some bigger ones. So I'm going to have another cast in the same position, see if there's any big ones down there. So I'm going to take a little bit of wander down the end of here. It's getting misty now. I don't know if you can tell, you can probably see in the lights. It's getting foggy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fish off this sign like that. See if I can get a few bites just off the end of here. I did have a couple of the last roach out in the main river there, so hopefully there's a bigger one sitting here somewhere as well. Just need that tip to go flying round, and there'll be a £3.4, £3.6 roach on the end. Even another £2 would be nice. Shame I can't fish the tide tonight all the way up, because it's perfect tide tonight. Oh, we've got a bite. Here we go, here we go. All happening live. That was a good old bite. I probably should have struck that. Right, I think I'm going to get ready for the next time I go so I can strike it. Hopefully I'll see you with a fish soon. Well, somehow I managed to miss that bite. But them sharp attack bites like that are definitely roach. The bream just pull it round and, you know, bend the rod round, but the roach attack it like that. I'm getting bites again like that, but I'm missing them at the moment, which is not good. I need to try and hook up. I'm running out of time now. I'm going to have to go soon, because as I said before, I've got to have dinner and then I've got to go to work, so I'm on my last few casts, so hopefully we can finish on a couple of fish. It's very foggy out here now, as you can probably see. It's getting quite chilly. But I still wish I could fish till like midnight or something like that and fish the tide right up, but not today. So the first couple of part 1 and part 2 we didn't have very good tides, did we? So let's try and get part 3 and 4, yeah, somewhere near sort of perfect tides, and hopefully find them big old £2-3 roach again. Well, I found some fish. They're basically roach that size. We just had like 4 of these on the trot. But I'm going to keep trying this spot. I'm going to put a bigger bait on this time and let's see if we can get something a bit bigger. Okay, so found a better roach. Not bad, not massive, but it's getting up there, isn't it? Nice fish. Sort of around the same sort of size really as some of the others I've had earlier on today. I think what I'm going to do is empty the net of the small stuff, and then I'm probably going to have 3 more casts at 10 minutes each, and I'm going to have to call it a day because I haven't got the time left. It's really foggy now. You can probably see behind me in the background. But that's lovely fishing, lovely evening. I like fishing like this. But as I say, 3 more casts, so let's get one out and let's get the timer on. Well, it didn't take 10 minutes on that cast. And that's what we got, Mr. Bream. Quite a nice fish. Got some funny markings down the side of him and stuff. Drop one of them out and spin him over. Yeah, lovely big fish. Wee. Very wriggly fish. Yeah, nice size. I don't mind catching, you know, a net full of these. Well, not a net full because I don't put them in the net, I put them straight back, but they're too big for the net. Right, I'm going to slip this one back. Right, cast number 2 going out. Well, it's looking like some bream have moved in, because I've got another one. There she is. Not bad size again. And again, got some funny old markings on them. I reckon that's because they're kept in nets by other people. Yeah, nice to get these, and yeah, the size they are, so I'm not complaining. Alright, I'm going to have 1 more cast. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the net in first, the keep net, and we'll see what we've got in there, and then we'll have 1 more cast. Okay, so here's a few fish out of the net. Nice rudd we had earlier on. It's a big old fish, that is, for a rudd. Lovely. Look at that. Ooh, let's get it back. I'll just pick out a few and then I'll just show you the bunch. Roach. Quite a decent fish. Just trying to keep them all on the mat nicely. I've got them in the landing net at the moment. Doesn't want to harm any of the fish. Literally got a there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 11. 11 the small skimmers that we kept. No. 12. Plus obviously all the bigger fish that we put back. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whee. 7, 8, 9. 10, 11. 12, 13. 14, 15. 16, 17. So then we're going to put together well over 30 fish. And we'll also put loads back as well. So we've had probably 50 fish today. And we've still got another cast. So let's see if we can get a fish on this last cast and see what we end the session on. And here's the last fish. So they're still out there. Might just have one more cast while I'm packing all the gear up. And that'll be it probably. Alright, stick this one back. And I'll let you know how we get on with our last cast while I pack up all the gear. Well, I'm back in the car. We done alright, we had quite a few fish, didn't we? We must have had at least, I don't know, somewhere between 50 and 60 fish. So we've done okay. We have some quite decent sized bream. And a couple of roach that were okay. And a really nice rudd. So that was very good. We've just basically run out of time. The tide's perfect now. It's 6.5 foot I think it is at the moment. So we could have fished it from now up to 9 foot, which is top of the tide. That would have been perfect, but got to get back, have something to eat, and I've got to get over my garage and work on some cars. So I'm going to head back now, and that's what I'm doing. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you soon in the coming video. So great, another good session.